Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Anime Ramble. Today I got for you Kaiju number 8, chapter 36. I'm bringing you a gameplay, dropping FD-bombs, so stay tuned in that, enjoy it. And let's jump right into this, because I'm behind. I just recorded chapter 35, this is chapter 36. It is really fucking intense. I mean, my god, if you're not reading Kaiju number 8 by this point, you're behind and you are missing some serious hype. So with chapter 36 of Kaiju number 8, Kafka has lost it. Alright, I shouldn't say Kafka, Kaiju number 8 has lost it, okay? He has completely taken over Kafka's body. He is 100% Kaiju. He has transformed in its entirety. Kafka has no control over the actions of his own body. Of course he was going to take over at some point. He's the strongest one we got, and Kafka has not been fighting seriously. I said it in the previous chapter review, but I want to reiterate it here. Out of all the Kaiju Kafka has fought, and out of all the times he has been in danger, this is the only time number 8 has ever fully taken over Kafka's body. Yeah, he was playing around at the beginning, partially transforming his body here and there, but from what we saw from the earlier chapters, Kafka has always just been able to just transform back and just go about his day, right? And at a certain point, for a very stretch of very long chapters, he never had an incident. Not when he fought Kaiju number 9, not when he fought number 10. This is the only time number 8 was like, Kafka, back the fuck up. Alright, this is my shit. This is nothing really new. We've seen it before in previous series, Naruto being a very prime example. Whenever the nine-tailed fox felt that his life was truly threatened, the seal did very little, okay? He could seep his chakra through the seal and take over Naruto's body time and time again. I don't have to give you instances, but that's what we're getting here right now. Kafka's lost control. That's not Kafka, that's number 8. And we learn a lot from this chapter. We learned that the Director General was actually trying to kill Kafka. That was a big thing that I was talking about in the previous chapter review, whether it was going to be a very harsh test and he was going to pull his punch back at the last minute, or if somebody was going to intervene. Somebody intervened, alright, but it wasn't Kikoru, it was Kaiju number 8. So let's talk about this, because I want y'all to understand what we have here going on. You have Kaiju number 8, which is currently the strongest living Daikaiju that we know of. Then you have number 8 fighting number 2, or the essence of number 2, now that he was dealt with and made into the weapon, for the lack of better words. And it was stated last chapter that this Kaiju was so strong that only Papa Shinomaya can wield the weapons that were made from it, assuming Kaiju 1 through 7 were all made into weapons, okay? You could argue that only because the Director General has the ability to wield Kaiju number 2's power, that Kaiju number 2 is the strongest of the Daikaijus that we know of. When number 8 does take over, it's not a walk in the park against Shinomaya. He's struggling, and you find out something very interesting at the end of the chapter, but we're gonna save that for later. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part about all of this is that this isn't the first time that Kafka has fought a Daikaiju, but this is the first time that number 8 has taken over Kafka's body in order to fight a Daikaiju. So this has me torn between thinking two things. Either one, number 8 is sentient and understands the risk that he poses for Kafka and his mental and physical body. Page 16 highlights this when Kafka mentions that his body can't take what's going on anymore. And this was really never a problem before in the past. Whenever he was in control, he worked within his own spectrum of power. This is the first time we've seen Kaiju number 8 take over and just be Kaiju number 8. And we learn that at the end of the chapter, 9.8 is clearly not his final form. We only know of a 10-point scale, but assuming that number 8 is going to be the one Kaiju that says we need a higher scale than just 10.0, I really want to know what's going to go down in chapter 37. So I'm stuck between this being a conscious reaction by a sentient creature or just a knee-jerk reaction for self-preservation. The Director General comments on this on page 10 and 15 about how now that Kaiju number 8 is finally taken over, his movements should be that of a wild animal and leave himself open for an attack. Only he doesn't, and we see that through this entire fight that number 8 is anything but a mindless creature. His movements are calculated. He does things that you would not expect a wild creature to do or to operate. It's self-thinking, and it has the battle capacity better than any Daikaiju that we've seen this far, or any Dai-humanoid Kaiju that we've seen this far. You get these panels throughout the chapter of it distorting its body to avoid the attacks that are coming its way, and at one point it even managed to fake out the Director General by using its body as a distraction after it just took an attack, but it moved its core, I guess, to the blind spot of the Director General, and then did this rapid regeneration faster than we've ever seen Kafka do when he's in his Kaiju form, and just instantly just regenerates back to its full form, clashes with the Director General, and this is the mind-blowing part about this entire chapter. When they clash, it manages to shatter the facility. or it manages to shatter 2 levels of the facility. Now, normally that wouldn't be anything crazy, but there are remarks from everybody who's spectating this fight that they managed to crack a fortified shelter that is managed to withstand, or it's supposed to be withstand, the power level of a 10.0 fortitude that comes rocking through that building. They broke 2 levels, not 1, 2. And to make matters worse, when it happened, you're like, okay, fine, they broke the floor, whatever. The scary part about that is the deputy director mentioned it. Kaiju number 8 is surpassing the predictions for his fortitude level. We don't know the fortitude level of Kaiju number 2 or what it was previously, but considering that he's still standing, the director general I mean, after that punch that came from Kafka, or the punch that came from Kaiju number 8, they're probably standing on equal footing. The downside is that the director general is human, meaning that he can't regenerate. So while Kaiju number 8 is perfectly fine in all of this, the director general isn't, and Kafka isn't. Kafka is struggling on the inside to just stay alive. His body cannot keep up with the rapid regeneration, with the power output that's being dealt to him, probably all the body modifications and body distortions. I guess it really didn't matter for Kafka whenever he's in control because, well, I really don't know why. I'm just gonna assume that it's just because he is that much stronger than what he has allowed Kafka to utilize in a fight. And this is something completely brand new for him, and he has to be able to keep up with it mentally. And because it happens so fast, there's nothing that he can do. The fight is very fast paced, and he's just going through it. By the end of the chapter, you need to give this man a water bottle. He looks like he just ran 5,000 meter race at the Olympics. The last part of the chapter, we have to go back to the beginning. The director general has really been testing Kafka, right? Like, he talked about killing him in his human form, but he really wasn't trying to do that, was he? If he had all the power that we see him now in chapter 36, back in chapter 35, he could have easily taken off Kafka's head if he was being serious. This is where you have the comment that's made from the deputy director as he watches what's going on, and he's sitting there with Kikoru, and he tells her that he found this odd, and he leans towards her father testing him in some other kind of way. For Itama to say this and not know about the conversation that happened between Kikoru and her father right before they had left to go and see Kafka and this whole fight started, he wouldn't be saying these things. But because he doesn't know, Kikoru is able to put the pieces together, and he looks down at the fight that's still going on, and she flashes back to what he had said to her. He said, Kafka had saved my life, both in his human form and in his kaiju form. She believes that he is human. And yeah, what the director general did was cold, but you know, he is the director general, right? This is her father, but they're at work right now. So yeah, he brushed it off in the moment, but now looking back at everything that has transpired, he could have taken his head off, but now he is really giving Kafka a chance to prove his humanity. And the only way that he could truly do that is if Kafka, well, did what we're hoping that he can do in chapter 37. He needs to be able to regain control, and if he's not able to regain control, then the director general will most definitely kill him. He's giving Kafka a lot of time to work with, just given the scope of everything. Nobody's jumped in at this point, which you really could argue that they should. They see him lose control, and he's going on a fucking rampage. He just destroyed 2 levels, and if he gets past the director general, who is the strongest that the defense force has currently, or he was back in his prime, I don't know who the strongest is currently, y'all gonna have a serious problems on your hands. So we're going to see what's going to happen in the upcoming chapter, if Kafka's going to be able to regain control, or if the director general is going to have to do a badass moment and just knock him unconscious. Don't know how that's really going to happen unless chapter 37 reveals to us that Kaiju number 2 is, in fact, even after death, stronger than Kaiju number 8. But then you have to bring into the consideration, this is number 2 beating number 8 when number 2 is being controlled by someone who has a little bit more consciousness is the appropriate word for this, right? Because it's being utilized by someone who's conscious, you would then think that it would be superior to number 8, but because number 8 has all this battle sense that's just coming out in this chapter, it's hard to really tell if what we're seeing is a true sense of anything like this. And it kind of brings into question, really, Kaijus 1 through 7. And I know this is at the end of the video, so I hope you kept up with it, but it brings into questions Kaijus 1 through 7. They're Dai Kaijus, yeah, but they're not humanoid Kaijus. 8, 9, and 10 are the only humanoid kaijus that we've seen throughout this entire series so far. So this is a complete new lineage. This has to be a divergent evolution or something along those natures, if it's natural. If it's not natural, then these are entire hybrids that are being born in labs that have the basis of a human. So I don't know, we might get some The Promised Neverland farming going on. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot to talk about with where they're getting these human hosts coming from. But I'm not going to ramble on anymore. If you made it to the end, thank you. If you are new, go plus ultra and smash the subscribe button. Lets me know you rock with the content that I put out on the channel. Like the video if you like the video, dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment on the video your thoughts about what you think is going to happen in the upcoming chapters. Subscribe if you are brand new, and like always, until next time, I'm out.
Losing Bravo. It's as good as ours. Keep it tight and by the numbers. Cruise missile inbound. Hostile spy plane established overhead. Mission area secured. You made JSOC proud.
Textbook.